If it's let me, okay. Uh, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. It is very cold today. Today, it's one of those depressing days, but it's not depressing. It's just like a cold day here today in Pittsburgh, and I have one of my good friends with me today, Missy Hill. We might be joined by Indigo Angel later, but most of the show is going to be Missy Hill today, and I'm excited to have her back on tonight. I wrote down the Typical Skeptic Podcast. We welcome back fan favorite Missy Hill. She's a paranormal historian, galactic historian, UFO skywatcher, gridworker, and traveler for a wild high signal night of deep theory, current events, and spiritual intel. We're digging into bring the balance back to the force, the collective light review, Sun King, exit through the sun, black holes, wormholes, floods, and birth pangs, possible Loosh harvesting dynamics, gridworks, UFO, paranormal updates, and the ripple effects from the James Rink Super Soldier Talk community shockwave. And yeah. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Missy, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm great, and we're also joined by Grumpy Pants tonight. Here's Grumpy Pants.
Arthur, what's going on? He looks adorable.
Yeah, I figured I got to dress him up with his friends, the Cat in the Hat and Puss in Boots. But he was grumpy because he came here instead of going to my father's. I left Cherokee, North Carolina, and was going to go back to my father's because I have to, check in, make sure everything's good with him. And I couldn't get there because of ice and snow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's bad down there too, where you're at.
Yeah, at high elevation. So what happens at 3,500 feet at a place called, if you're coming from Cherokee and you go through Waynesville, Betsy's Gap, it was ice and snow. And his driveway is just ridiculous because it's steep like this. So when it doesn't melt. So I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm just not. And cute Lyra, I'm just not doing it. So I figured I'd come here and do the show from my friend's house because I've done many shows from this location too in Black Mountain because see where my father is in the Hot Springs, Spring Creek area. That's on the Tennessee border, which gets a whole different weather system than, say, the eastern part of Asheville, Black Mountain, Fletcher, places like that. You just never know, right?
Yeah.
And when Ron and I were in Cherokee, we were going to go over to Gatlinburg. We love to do that. We couldn't because Newfound Gap, which is 441, where Klingman's Dome is, that's really high elevation. We were not able to get over there either. So it's been an interesting time because it seems like I've been, traveling quite a bit. I was with my father, and the last time, when James passed, I was actually in White, Georgia, where my aunt is for Thanksgiving, because I think it was on the 30th that he passed. I'm not sure what day it was. Some people said the 30th. I just know whatever I saw, and it has really stimulated what I call a shock wave for the past 10 days, as long as it's been. And with this tsunami warning, with the earthquake in Japan, let me pull up my notes because I can't remember the names of even how to say these places. Aomori, Japan. I just looked up how far that was from Fukushima, and it was 5 hours and 5 minutes. I thought that was interesting because it's got that 5-5 in there,
Yeah.
I felt something about this wave and feeling this. It was about some kind of polar opposites, and this wave was a timeline. It didn't have to happen, and I was feeling the potential for waves all different places. And the interesting thing is, when we were staying at the casino, Harrah's Casino, because a friend of mine is able to get free rooms. She was and she's actually been on with you before. She came on, Donna, she came on with you for a little bit and said some things one time because she makes the creepy dolls. You remember her?
Yeah, I remember her, yeah.
She could live in Las Vegas for 3 months because she inherited a diamond status from one of her clients. So we had a nice vacation. It was just great. And I don't watch a lot of TV. However, when I'm in a motel or hotel, I put on the TV and I change it all around to see what they're broadcasting certain times of the year and what is going on in the collective with that. And I was getting a theme because a lot of times it's Harry Potter movies. Now, James really loved Harry Potter. I don't know if you heard some of the narration of things that he did in the Harry Potter world, because he sent me some of those meditations and I would listen to them when I would go to sleep. So that was on another show that was on, besides all the silly Christmas movies with like Home Alone 1 and 2. I never even caught in Home Alone 2 because I remember Home Alone 1, but in Home Alone 2, did you know that there's a cameo of Donald Trump in there?
No, there's no way.
Yeah,
there is. Donald Trump in Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2?
No, 2. Home Alone 2 when he's in New York, when the kid
Boston, New York, yeah.
When the kid goes to New York. Now, another thing is the theme for me of New York constantly in everything I watch and everything that's coming up. And obviously, because we know what's happened in New York, and it feels like the Statue of Liberty really has moved down to Florida. Etherically, the energetic part of the Statue of Liberty said, hey, I'm out of here and I'm going to Florida, right? You saw that meme.
Yeah.
So there's a whole thing with that. And then some of the other things. I was also supposed to be on Jessica Jones' show, although that didn't happen. Barry was going to bring me on, Barry Littleton. So he's important to this whole scenario too, because when I met James, Barry, it was through the Starseed reunion, and Barry and James had a connection from before. And James always thought he was Perseus in a past life, Perseus. And if you ever saw the Clash of the Titans 1981 with Harry Hamlin,
I saw that.
Yeah, Perseus. Now, the one that, and I thought this was interesting too, because that was one of the shows that was on when I was scrolling, Clash of the Titans, but it wasn't the Clash of the Titans, the Harry Hamlin one. It was the one from like 15 years ago or something, but still, I thought that was significant. The most recent thing with when Fukushima, with the, that's on my mind now, with the earthquake in Japan, a bunch of the Star Wars movies were on, and the last one that was on was The Rise of Skywalker, which is about the son of Han Solo and Princess Leia, which is the newest, I don't know if you saw it, the newest Darth Vader, and they turn him dark. His name is Ben or Renlo, or so I can't remember his name, and that woman Rey. And in the end, so I'm feeling this whole thing about, they're sick. Basically what's happening is they're sick of playing the game, sick of playing the Jedi Light, the dark, especially he is, as far as the dark side. And I remember years ago when I would do some grid work, and I would encounter, when I did Sedona grid work, that there was these vampires under the ground that were being held hostage and sort of hired to do a job like, what is it when it's called, a third party is hired to do like a military job, like a black ops
contractor, like a contractor.
Yeah, it is a contractor, but there's a certain word for that when that person is hired. That's kind of what I was seeing when I did like Sedona and other places, like when I went to Puerto Rico too. Puerto Rico was on my mind today, because when I went to Puerto Rico, that was like, I guess 12 years ago. And I was thinking about, that when I was releasing souls there and things in some of the church graveyards and how they need an advocate for the land. And I've talked about this kind of stuff before. So some of these beings that are being held hostage to do the bidding of something greater, like they're just a minion. That's a word, but that's still not the word I'm looking for. But they're like a minion that's doing a job for somebody else, and they're just there because they have to be there doing what they do, which is part of, you know, the light has this job and the dark has this, and the extremes. So I was feeling something about the extremes, especially since this wave, since James has passed, and it's brought up a lot of sadness, a lot of grief, a lot of disruption, pain, the emotional pain body. I'm feeling it's like a collective pain body, and yet there is a lightness too, because people know that he's okay, and you know, he's in the light and he's doing his job, and it's a higher octave, but still we miss people's physical presence on the earth. We do.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah,
And I'm
like,
thinking back to conversations that I had, because I was at the gym today. I was at Planet Fitness, and I'm remembering a conversation I had with James I think it was in January or February. I don't remember exactly. I was going to look it up. I didn't have time, but he called me and he said, and this is after I had pulled out of the thing that I was going to do, the tour, because I got to know, like, my spirit, I can't do this. I'm not going to be supported. And I got to know. And he said, Ronetta is no more. That's exactly how he said. He said, guess what? Renetta's no more. I'm like, what? What do you mean Renetta's no more? He's like, she died. And I'm like, what? Really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, how? He goes, well, cancer, but like how? And he said she was in a rest stop while driving a truck and died in the bathroom. Do you remember that?
what I talked about, I mean, I talked to her family, but like her family never made it clear to me like how she died. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
He said cancer, and he said she actually died in the bathroom.
that's what I heard too. And you know, I
She
know
died
her
in the
mom was
bathroom.
kind
She
of
was working, trying to make as much money for her mother as she could, and she died in the bathroom. And there's so many times when I talked to James, he was, you know, he's taking care of his father, but he's always cutting the grass. He was always saying, I got to go out and do yard work or cut the grass. So it seemed like that there was a lot of that, and there was a lot of this, us trying to get together and do things. And, you know, it didn't happen because of Helene. Now, I remember other conversations where I was on Zoom with James and Renetta, because I was at the gym then too, but I was in Edisto, and I happened to be on the elliptical, and he's like, James is like, can you get on Zoom? And I'm listening to Renetta, and she's like, can you channel the rocks for me? Like, can you articulate what is the beings that are coming through these rocks? You remember how she had the pictures of some of those super soldier, that cat guy. I don't remember the name of the cartoon that it was from. Was it from? I'd have to look back at those videos again, but there was one that had like a computer. You know, it looked like there was a being sitting at a computer, like an Anunnaki dude sitting at a computer. So I'm thinking of all these conversations, and then the things that we did, like when I was at the Starseed reunion and James had his box, and Donna had a booth. Actually, my friend Donna, who's on your show that makes the creepy dolls, had a booth selling her artwork and a lot of the clothing she makes. Like, she crochets, and she'll add hippie themes of material, or Sasquatch, or UFOs, or mushrooms, or whatever it is. This time of year, it'd probably be Santa Claus or Krampus, or it'd be Nightmare Before Christmas, you know, Jack and stuff, whatever type of creative things, Grinch, it could be anything that she would like crochet in, or it could be a farm theme with roosters, you know, all these different themes of things that she makes. She makes a lot of things, candles, all different stuff. But anyway, she had a booth, and James needed a booth. So James set up his stuff with his box and books and things to sell at the Starseed reunion. And he wanted me to hold the box. So I don't know what that thing's called, but I held it, and he gave the commands and led me through the meditation, and I actually started to channel and all this stuff, and I had like a total meltdown and started crying.
That was his neological tech cube. That's what he called it. It was called his neological tech cube or something like that. I remember.
Right? I was flying with that thing. There was some power with that device that he had. And then, of course, I ran the quantum infinity on him and Barry, and there was dancing at night, and he like interviewed me like at 2:00 in the morning. We went swimming, you know, just different things. And then we kept in contact and always tried to get together, like to do these events, like for the Brown Mountain Lights. And then Helene happened. And then he even wanted me to come over to Charlotte, and that didn't happen. And there was always a block. And I had my own physical health stuff at the beginning of the year. I mean, I had different things going on because I felt like I was hit by a bioweapon. So I pulled out of that thing, you know, that you were supposed to be a part of and others were supposed to be a part of. And then, you know, in October, I just did not do the conference that he had because I knew my energy wasn't going to be supported for that either. But I had talked to him on the way down, and he was supposed to send me the link because I wanted to participate virtually, you know, as an energetic support. And I figured he got busy. And then after that, I never talked to him again. I tried to call him, didn't get him. And then when I saw that he was sick, I tried to call again, or I didn't know. When he said, I'll be back in two to 3 weeks on Facebook. And then the next thing after that, he was sick.
Yeah. And I remember there was one point where he came out with something. And I just want to backtrack on one thing that you said earlier. It's like, I remember he came out with that notice where he said, it was like the doctors say I have 1 month to live. Then it seemed
right.
Like
that was after
2 days after that,
weeks.
It was like he died. You know what I mean? It was like they didn't even give him a month. It was like whoever put that out, whatever doctor said he had a month to live, like was absolutely right, because he was gone like 3 days after he put that notice out. And then one thing I just kind of wanted to backtrack on was like that Harry Potter school that he made or whatever. You know, like James was very in touch with, like, you know, I don't know if anybody touched on this. You did though, but I mean, like, you know, like James was really in touch with like his imagination. He never lost that, you know, that imagination that we have when we were children, you know, like, and he loved
that was one of the things I really wanted to do. Is if I went to the conference, I mean, he really said, we need to go. I want you to go to this, whether you can speak or not, because he knows that I have Montauk and different kind of memories that I still don't 100% have all the pieces and aren't necessarily ready to talk about yet because of the whole targeted individual thing, right? Because of stuff in my family that maybe eventually it's going to come out at the right timing, because I think I have touched on, I've had the dreams in the underground bases. Now, I wasn't sure I wanted to share some of the things that are come through, because I take all this with a grain of salt. We all have our own experience of James, because I feel he's multi-dimensional in a way. We all are. And I don't think we're necessarily, anybody is channeling him yet. And I don't think it's good for people to monetize and bait and say, oh, this is James, and to get their, you know what I'm saying, the money coming in based on his death, like, oh, they're going to get more clicks because of James, right? Yeah. I mean, there is some of that going on. So
yeah, I think it was Matthew who said that, like, you can't really channel someone when they're as soon as they die. He said there's like a death process, you know, that the person has to
channel them, but I think you can tap into the memory of them and what God's source, first eternal, is giving you.
Yeah,
and it's not channeling them, but there are synchronicities, because there's different layers to bodies when people. And is Indy in the chat yet? Is she?
I don't think she's in the chat, or she hasn't made an appearance yet in the chat. Okay. But she's maybe she's getting ready to come on, because I know she said she was going to come on, and like she said, I told her like 40. Yeah,
I told her to listen, and she'd know when to come in, because I told her I wanted to talk about James because I didn't want to put it to rest. But there was some things that came about James because I had a dream about James right after he died. And it kind of disturbed
crazy?
me.
I just wanted to tell you this. I keep saying that. I keep saying I keep saying this is the last video about James I'm gonna do, but everybody that comes on wants to say something about James. That's how liked he was. You know what I mean? Like every single, from Oksana to you to like every person that I interview wants to, say their piece about James. So I think he really had besides the fact of what he did for the community and the fact that he was like a pillar for the community, he had Super Soldier Talk for so long, but like he was really liked the most. You know what I mean? I know I liked him. I continued to collab with him even when him and Brian were arguing and stuff like that. I still kept having him on my show and stuff like that. But like he was really, really liked. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It was like,
No, we had a connection, but for some reason there was a block, and I knew I didn't want to get into the thing with that other person, but there's another person I knew, and there was arguments around money, is all I'm going to say. I don't want to get into that, but there was a connection, even though we couldn't necessarily, we were trying to physicalize things, but it wouldn't happen. But I had a dream about him. It was disturbing. I didn't want to share it because he came to me as a female. He said they made me into a woman now because he's cloned. And what's weird is about a month before, I don't watch too many shows, but because Ron watched Orphan Black and another friend, I was called to watch Orphan Black because it's all about clones on Netflix and super soldiers. So they have the female clones and they have the male clones. Okay. The other thing that happened is the thing about his name, James. He loved Lake James and went swimming. But it wasn't just Lake James. I saw something to do with King James and a British thing. I have an app. I was thinking about James and the app opened. It's called GhostCom Radar. Okay. And I was thinking about him. The first one said, looking Georgia. This was because I had just come back from Georgia. For someone special you need. This didn't make any sense. This one, right? But it was giving a meter of how close in distance the spirit was. So I said, this one's not telling me anything, but the next one did. It says, wearing red coat, imposters, you're sewing. And I'm thinking, this is what it is. It's all these random words, but what stood out to me was red coat. And what do you get from that, Rob? I'll tell you what I get.
See it that well. I'm sorry. Can you hold it up again? Let me see what it is. What is it?
This is called GhostCom. It's an app.
Wearing coat red, you're sewing. Imposters, you're so. That's interesting. I don't get much of it. I don't know.
Did you see the thing that was on his thing about Queen? Was it Henry VIII? Did you see that? There was some thing on James's timeline about Henry VIII. Well, what I saw is that James was a redcoat in the British Army.
Wow.
Like a high up something. I don't know what you call it, colonels and didn't your friend, is it Osana? She said he was in the Russian government.
Oksana Buchanan, yeah.
Oksana,
they were really
that's
close.
How you
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah,
now,
they were really
something
close.
to delve in deeper. Not that I don't ask to contact the dead or any of that. I don't do that stuff. I mean, some people call me a medium and said, do you do mediumship? I don't seek it out. But if people, if it happens like this app opened itself, I didn't do that. So I've had that app and I do have it on my phone. I will show you what it is and we can do it for you.
One thing I was going to say, Missy, is like one thing we know about James is he absolutely thought he was Saint Germain. Like, and I'm not saying he was or wasn't, but he was convinced of it, that he was like, Saint Germain.
Well, he thought he was Perseus too. And Perseus is the one that killed Medusa. So back to the balance of the force. So there was that one movie and also Charmed. I was a big Charmed fan. I don't know if
I
you
like
watched
Charmed. I love Charmed.
There was an episode that was on at the same time the Star Wars thing was on. And what it was about was the avatars. And the avatars were beings that wanted to get their white lighter. Leo became an avatar. You know, Leo was with Piper. He left, he came back, all this stuff. He became an avatar, and an avatar is beyond good and evil. But what happens is then people become like robots or puppets, like Stepford husbands and wives, or, you know, people that don't have their own free will anymore and are just kind of puppets. So they did away with it, but that's where it was going. Rob, do you want me to give you a message with this?
Sure, I don't care. Yeah.
Okay. Which finger do you want me to use? I'll use or do you want me to use my left or right hand, and which finger?
Middle finger, right hand. That's just what came up to me automatically. I don't know why.
Okay. This could be about James. I'm not going to say it's from James because I don't do that. But if something to do with him wants to come through, spirit, for the highest light, highest good of God's source, first eternal, in the Christ light, I'm okay with that. But I'm not like seeking out entity. You know, I'm not a spirit medium. But here, we're going to do it. Am I shooting a bird?
What app is that?
You know, it went away. Oh, this is really weird. Okay, wait a minute. Let me do it. Let me do that again. That was weird. Here. Something else was trying to come in at the same time. It's called Ghost Calm Oracle. Okay, remove finger and then see what your message is. There's all kinds of this shit you can play with on your phone. You know, all kinds of crazy. It's got spooky music.
Huh, that looks cool. I got to get that.
Oh, this sounds good for you. The words are what stand out. How you use the words in the order. These are the words. You, path, stress, and growth. Here are the words again. We can figure out what order. You, path, stress, and growth. Have you been stressed?
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. If you follow your path and continue to grow, you'll be less stressed. So got to do something to defrag and downregulate your nervous system is what I'm getting. Stay on your path of growth, and then you'll have less stress. But you have to work on stress to make that happen.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. What's that called again? Is that for Android too?
Android or Apple. It's called Ghost Calm Oracle.
I'm gonna look it up. I want to get that. You know, I forget, like, you know, that is so cool. Yeah. Oh, it says I'm offline. I don't know. My phone went up. Yeah. I don't know what's up with my phone. No, but yeah, this is fascinating. Yeah. Oh, Indy's here.
Oh,
okay.
Good.
We're in.
Good. Yeah. Right on time. Right on time. She just missed the ghost calm. Well, let's do it for her.
Hi.
Let's do this for Indy. This is where, did you hear what we were doing or not?
I am so sorry. I had a couple fires to put out right before I came in. So I wanted to listen. I was like, I should have been listening. Sorry
Okay,
about
well,
that.
speaking of fires, because I brought up some movies. The new Avatar is going to be coming out. Okay, Indy, on your left or my left or right hand, which finger from which hand do you want me to do this?
So just pick a finger.
Pick a finger.
In a hand.
Your Left ring finger.
Okay. The reason, I'll tell you again, the reason why I'm doing this, because this app opened up on its own after James passed away. And that happens a lot. After people pass, this will open. And I just gave Rob a message about not being stressed, following his path of growth.
Yeah. So it'll give you like 4 words or something, she said. And then you figure out like what it means to you, you know?
Oh my God, you've got so many words in yours.
On mine?
Yeah.
What's my message?
For you, these are the words. We don't know what the message is yet. Sleepy, love, early, tomorrow, laughter, passion, fun. You're overseas too.
I like it. I mean, it sounds positive.
Yeah.
High vibrational.
Yeah, sleepy. Maybe you need more sleep, or you've been sleepy, or you're resting because you're healing. Love, loving yourself, early, tomorrow, laughter, passion, fun. Things are going to become more fun. You're overseas too. Maybe that means travel again. I don't know. But that's what it looks like. This is GhostCom. But the reason this came up is because I told Rob and the audience about the dream that I had about James. I wasn't comfortable sharing it, where he came to me as a woman, like they're having me as a woman now because he's, there's clones, right? And I brought up the show Orphan Black, which is all about clones and super soldiers and the spiked protein, all different things, genetic modification, different things that are going on. And then that app just happened to open for me, and it first the GhostCom radar came up, didn't really give me a message, but it had Georgia, and I had just come back from Georgia, or actually I was in Georgia, I think, when I got this, because this is right after he passed. Okay, hold on, my Google just shut down. It's like not wanting me to access my Google. Stop. Okay. And then this other one came up that said, wearing a red coat, imposters, you're sewing. And what I saw was that, remember when James put up that thing to do with Henry VIII, I saw that James was in a red coat in the British Army. And there's a connection with his name he loved Lake James. He loved to go swimming at Lake James, King James, things like that. We love you, James, and we're going to put this to rest for now so we can move on to other things. We pay all respect to James. As Rob said, everybody's coming forth wanting to share, more about James. Perseus!
I agree. Indy, did you want me to ask her about the floods? Did you remember you mentioned about, maybe I should ask Missy about the floods?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, but I was just paying attention to the chat. Everyone seemed to be really resonating with like the sleep situation, and also someone asked Missy, what was the app that you were using?
It's called GhostCom Oracle. We'll play with it again at the end, as well as some different fun tarot decks that I have. Okay, I got all kinds of fun tarot decks and apps, and I even have like runes, the Nordic runes on here as an app, stuff like that. But with the flooding, so as we were talking about bringing balance to the force, I brought up the Star Wars theme that I talked to you about. I brought up the Avatars theme to do with Charmed and getting rid of good and evil. I brought up the Avatar movie theme, which I think is important to do with fire and ash. I don't remember the name of the movie. And the flooding and the wave. And you had something to say about this. Another movie that was on when I was at the casino that I noticed was called Evan Almighty, which was the guy that played the 40-year-old virgin. He's hysterical. I can't think of the
Steve Carell. Steve Carell.
Oh, he's a riot. He's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's who's God now? The narrator. God, I can't think of his name.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. That guy's God. You know, he's in everything. Morgan Freeman is God. Steve Carell is Noah, and he's called to build an ark. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched it years ago. Oh, the other thing that I brought up, Indy, that in Home Alone 2, Donald Trump does a cameo.
Okay.
And it's in New York. And there was all this theme about movies and everything takes place in New York. And I said, well, the Statue of Liberty has flown south, not just for the winter, but she's etherically, energetically, even though her body is still in New York, every other part of her has moved down to Ron DeSantis land. That's where she wants to be. She wants to be in Florida because there's no chemtrails and because there's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway,
we kind of got it going on down here in Florida right now, I feel like.
So this movie, the thing was, it wasn't just that there was rain, because I saw the tail end of it. It started to rain. It was a sprinkling, and then they started making fun of him. Oh, it's a little bit of rain, ha ha ha. But it was a dam that broke. It was a flood. And like I used to sing in my Biltmore Village Mystery Tour, sung by Led Zeppelin, if it keeps on raining, the levee's gonna break. It reminded me of Hurricane Helene and seeing that the dam, social dam of humanity, is at a breaking point. I mean, and that's why humanity actually needs a dose of Krampus. It was Krampus night on the 5th of December, and Krampus, when people are bad, he does not reward. It's not the good Santa, it's bad Santa. Remember? There was another movie called Bad Santa.
Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa.
I literally just watched both of them the other day.
Which one?
I might watch that. That's a good one.
Bad Santa 1 and Bad Santa 2. You know, Bad Santa 2 is like worse because his mom, I can't remember the actress that plays his mom, but I mean, she's pretty ruthless too. I mean, it's pretty foul.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just talking to my friend how this time of year I'm not much for slapstick, but I love stupid slapstick movies this time of the year, like Chevy Chase with the squirrel and the Christmas tree. You know, all the stupid ones, whether it's Home Alone or it's Elf or it's Christmas
I love
Vacation,
National Lampoons. I
Billy
love
Bob
National
Thornton,
Lampoons.
all that kind of stuff, the heist things, you know, all that, because it's like this dark. That's why I always said there's not really much difference between Halloween and Christmas, because it's like the dark side of humanity, you know, because this is the biggest loosh harvesting time of the year, really, I think. You know, it's supposed to be a time of love and light and goodwill and, you know, Scrooge stuff. What's his face? I can't think. Charles Dickens. You know, there are the Scrooges. There's the people that give stuff away. It's all about harvesting energy because people get stressed out. They have to go out and buy all this stuff. It's just, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I think it's interesting. I was going to tell you, Missy, I think it's interesting that you were picking up on the floods because I was telling Rob, and I told you guys earlier, that there's a guy in Ghana. His name is Ebo Noah, or he calls himself Ebo Jesus, I think it is. But he's getting like a lot of, I guess you could say, notoriety because he's claiming that there's going to be another global flood coming on this Christmas, this December 25th, 2025. So he's building all these arcs in Ghana. I think he's built like 10 of them, and each one of them can hold like 5,000 people in each one. And they said like it's actually getting like really big. Like animals are appearing and people are gathering and
what?
Yes, like seriously, like look this up on YouTube. There's this, his name is Ebo Jesus or Ebo Noah. And he's saying that there's going to be a 3-year deluge that's coming. And a lot of people are actually really, you know, believing him as like a, you know,
prophet.
I don't know. I guess you could say a prophet, but he's, you know, he's bringing forward prophecy, you know. But I think it does all coincide because I mean, like we have, I think 2025 to 2028, we're having a lot of Stargate recorrection. I think it also has a lot to do with like the water purification cycles that are coming through right now. And I mean, like, I think, Missy, did you already talk about the tsunami in Japan?
I brought that up and how that was a potential, and I was feeling the different timelines of the potentials because when I was at the casino walking around, I was actually feeling like it was wavy under the ground. And that was at the same time, we didn't really get into the collective life review. We talked about James. I know for our collective, I feel it is a life review for some of us, another version of a life review, since you guys spoke with Gene Decode and he was talking about exiting through the sun and the artificial white light. I remember years ago, I was laying in bed in meditation and I was so lucid and I saw that artificial white light and it looked to me like one of those light bulbs that had the mercury in it years ago, that spiral light bulb that had mercury. And I woke up and I'm like, ew, I know this is not a place we're supposed to go. This tunnel feels fake. It feels like fabricated. So yes, there's an aspect of we're with our loved ones, we're with our soul group, we're with our oversoul. However, how much of that is manufactured, sort of like AI, to get us to come back in here? Like they'll say, you didn't complete your mission and you can't go to another realm. You have to incarnate to a higher octave. Oh, and Osaka, what is her name again? Osaka? No, not Osaka. That's
Oksana. Oksana
Oksana.
Buchanan.
I ate at a Japanese restaurant or Asian restaurant. So I got
Oksana, she's Ukrainian. But you know what I found out?
She was really good friends with.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
she brought up Chicago, and she brought up the underground bases there. And I remember when Ron's mother lived in Springfield, and we used to fly into Chicago. And one time I've been downtown there many times. And one time over Christmas, we went downtown. We were going to walk around. We took the train. We didn't have time. I'm like, oh, I'm feeling the underground bases. I actually saw the entrance to one, and I felt the clock shield template there and how that place connects to the moon and Saturn as far as the reincarnational wheel. It's like Chicago is the hub, at least for the United States. And I'm sure there's more than one, but I get this is a big one that some people exit through there, and it's part of this reincarnational thing to do with the moon. Chicago is.
Wow.
With the Great Lakes and stuff, because there's like bog bodies in the Great Lakes. Oh, by the way, I want to show you Grumpy Pants. Oh, see, even knocked it down. Here's Grumpy Pants.
Hey, Arthur.
Why is he grumpy?
He was grumpy because he was starving today, and when he came back, everybody else here, all the other cats were eating, and he wanted his sushi and shrimp that I brought from the restaurant. I brought him like some shrimp, some salmon and tuna with seaweed and some broccoli and mushroom and snow peas. And he was just mad because he wanted to eat it right away, and he bit me. He doesn't normally do that. I'm like, he's feeling it. He's feeling the rage. Like, oh my God.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Well, the afterlife thing, it's interesting. There's a part of me that just wholeheartedly wants to really reject the idea that, like, when you're going through something so vulnerable as crossing over, that you're going to be literally harvested and hijacked in that moment. I really feel like that life review is something that is done throughout your life. Like, you're constantly going through a life review, and you're constantly like being evaluated. Like, are you doing the work in this life? Are you achieving ascension in this life? Are you actually, going into the 12th dimensional Christ consciousness and attaining what it is we're supposed to attain? Like, are you evolving your soul? And so I think, like, you maybe get these little checkpoints that, like, decide whether, or how you're gonna have to reincarnate or come back and through, as if like, because I honestly don't even think that the heavenly realms are separated from the living realms. Like we're always accessing them. Like in our sleep, we're accessing them, you know, even just if you're meditating and daydreaming, like you're going into like those portions and like assessing the soul and like, you know, just doing everything that's supposed to happen in that realm. Like even if you're just transmuting something, like clearing karma or clearing you know, something that's just really heavy, like that's also going through the eternal realms, that's going through the heavenly realms, that's going through the death cycles. So it's like it's just, you know, on an organic sense, if you think about like the quantum mechanics of the entire planet and how Stargate mechanics entirely function, like there is a truly pure organic system that's built for us on a soul level through the stages of transcendence and how we're supposed to like come in and out of the Stargate systems, whether we're going, if we're staying here or if we're like going somewhere else. But it's how you get through your life incarnation and which determines whether you're actually going to get off planet. So if you're not doing the
right,
work,
and that's the organic, which is not the inversion. So the other is the inversion. It's like,
and if you're not transcending those J seals and Draco seals, like that's a very real thing, and that's not just a taboo thing that we talk about in our community. I mean, the J seals, the crucifixion and persecution stuff, like all of that, those hexes and those religious egregores, like I believe if you don't transcend that particular matrix, that in itself is the draconian slavery matrix. Like that is the diabolical harvesting system right there. So it's like, if you don't transcend those hooks, you know.
And that's why this time of the year is that, because that reinforces all that programming, the Christ Mass. I mean, because we know December 25th is not the birthday of Yeshua. It's actually the birthday of Mithras. It has nothing to do at all with Jesus or Christ or any of it. And we know that the you know, it is the winter solstice and Yule, and it's 4 days. I guess this year the winter solstice is after the new moon, and it's on a Sunday, and I think that's the 21st this year, but it fluctuates. It goes between the 20th and the 22nd. It's not always the exact same. So obviously we know the solstice. I mean, a lot of people like it just because after the solstice, the days start getting longer again. Yay. For those of us that don't like short days, you know, where it's like so dark and you're like tired and all this stuff. It is important.
Do you think that's, I mean, when Indy came in, she said a lot of people in the chat were talking about sleep. Like I slept like 3 times today, and I slept a full night last night, but I still like napped like 3 times today. And like, it seems like a lot of people did in the chat too. Like, what do you guys think's going? Do you think that's just like because it's getting darker out, or like it's because it's, I mean, it's 10 degrees here in Pittsburgh also. So it's like, you know, be cold.
Yeah. I could comment to that too, because you said you took a nap, and then people in the chat were talking about sleep, and I even had to take a nap today as well, and even the day before. So I know December 9th, I think we got a huge solar flare that came in. I haven't checked it, but I'm pretty sure December 9th. So I think we're probably in the phases of like processing and transmuting solar radiation. And then I also think that 12/12 is Christ consciousness activation portal up until the winter solstice. I think that the window starts tomorrow.
That's right. And I was picking that up too. And that's why we're on the 11th, because I remember you had a drop on 11/11, and you were talking about Mu on 11/11. And I was actually getting things about Hyperborea when you were getting things about Mu. And then I did something with Rob, I remember, on 11/22, which is the higher octave, because you also remember 11/11 is important, but also it's a war code day that we are transcending, because World War I is connected to that 11/11. The Kennedy assassination is connected to 11/22, right? And right now, even though, you know, we talked about the Charleston Gridwork, you and I had a private conversation about that, and what's really going on a deeper level now with that, with the I'm just going to say the word, the Islamification of, I don't know what to say, the
free world.
Yeah, it's the whole world.
Yeah, that's our Civil War timeline. That's it. And that's why that grid work never happened. It didn't happen because there was a deeper layer that had to happen. New York had to fall for the rising of Arthur and Camelot that connects to the grids in the UK. I've been seeing that, and how that even goes down to Charleston, where there's a obelisk that's holding things in place as far as the magnetics of the ground, because it's on a fault line.
Going back to the Islamification, and I don't want to stay on this topip very long because I'm always on that topic, and I'm just like, I got to get over myself at some point.
I didn't even want to bring it up, but it slipped out.
I thought about this today. I'm like, this, I've been out here fighting all passionately about this, and I'm like, this isn't a woman's war. This Islamification is a man's war. This is the war for the men. And maybe, Rob, you could speak to this, but I mean, you look at how the women are kind of oppressed in that system. You look at how here in the US, at least right now, there's like this turning of, I feel like at least the far right, I've noticed there's been this like, obviously demonization of the feminist movements, but also there's been this like push, like, take women's right to vote away and all this stuff. And then you go far left and it's like all of the women are like the women are just destroyed. There's no like core value. And then they're destroying the youth, by
they're not
parental grooming and things like this. So it's like, I think the women should just step out of the way and let the man handle the Islamification war. I mean, the men, that's what I think. I think it's out of our hands as far as the women. That's not our battle.
Right. And it's really all these Draco lines. We were talking about this, that these wars are really all these Dracos that don't get along, like the China Draco, different factions of this Stargate 10. The different race lines. And what's amplifying these race lines is, and this ties back into the flooding with the third eye atlas, I keep saying third eye, but third dimensional AI. It's like when AI becomes multi-dimensional. There's an AI component. There's an organic and an AI. And if it's carrying all this genetic memory, let's say it's carrying holographic records of memory banks, okay? Which is what I'm feeling it is. It's memory banks of all the races. And if you tune into the Swan, say it's going to be Cygnus. I'm just giving examples. Depending on what your race line, what you'll see, and if you're a mixed race, which we are, each race line holds different perspectives. Like Lyra will hold a different perspective than Hydra. And Andromeda is going to hold a different perspective. The Draco is going to hold a different perspective. Indy, you're better with this than me, but you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking, Rob, I felt like you were going to comment the last thing that, like how I said, like the men's war thing. Were you going to say something about that?
I find it interesting that like a lot of the men that they're bringing in, the Islamic men are like of fighting age, or what they say fighting age. You know what I mean? But I mean, that really doesn't matter. I mean, it's not. I don't know. I think that's the only way they can attack is from the inside out. You know what I mean? They couldn't go up against our military. But I mean, it's I mean, I'll put it this way. I told Indy this. I posted our video of me, her, and Gene Decode of us talking about it, and it got banned as soon as I posted it on TikTok today. It got banned instantaneously.
Oh my God.
Everything is TikTok, though. I mean, it's Qatarian owned and operated, or in China. I mean, it was China, but I think now it's in the hands of the Qatarian leaders, to be honest with you. Who owns TikTok right now? Maybe someone knows in the comments. I think
China.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean,
and so I think, you know what? I think it's a silent war with China. They're meddling in with everything. They persuade things through TikTok. They persuade it through the internet. And that's how they win their wars. They persuade the ideology. I think they pin us up ideologically with, who they feel that our greatest threat is, and then persuade us into the mouth of the lion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how China gets us.
Yeah, I agree. Missy, I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you can see my phone. I showed Indy this yesterday. On the side of the building, it says 6/12/2026. It says all will be disclosed. Spielberg. This was in LA Times Square. It has like a raven and it has an eye in the center. That's for Spielberg's new disclosure movie. I guess that's up in LA Times Square.
What's the number? Say the number sequence again.
6/12/26. Jason sent this to me. Shout out to Jason. Thank you, Jason.
So okay. So you're
But
saying
like, what's up? Like, I wanted you ladies to look like. What do you guys think's up with the bird with the eye in the center, then the weird writing on the side and then it's Spielberg.
I can't tell. It looks very dark though, and I'm just seeing the red, the black, and the white, and it comes to me in the pagan tradition, the blood of the ancestors, the white, which is bone, and then the black. Although that's inverted, and in the satanic they use it. You had a great show with that one guy too that got into stuff that you had to be on Rumble, and I'm not going to repeat any of that but that was interesting. That dude that was on.
Me?
You had a guy that was talking about handlers and different things, and he was and you had to move the show to Rumble. I don't remember.
Oh, our team. It was our team. Yeah. I know you're talking. Yeah. But I mean, like, knowing that it's Spielberg and stuff, do you think it's something like more evil? Because you think Spielberg's like satanic since he's like part of like big Hollywood?
When I think about Spielberg,
I got that hit just tuning into it when you said I don't know what the one eye means, but that feels almost demonic or satanic.
Yeah, everything's a mixed bag. I get that doesn't mean there's not. Didn't he do the movie called AI? Do you remember that movie from at least 20 years ago about the little boy? You can look this up. It's a little boy that's like a doll robot that if you can't have kids, that's what you have. And then in the future, he's the only thing that's close to human at all. It's sort of like the Pinocchio syndrome.
Wow.
Do you remember that movie?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that for some reason. Like, I gotta, yeah.
Yeah, Woo Rider is saying Spielberg is part of the global satanic pedo cabal.
I thought so. Yeah.
I mean, if they're giving disclosure, it's like somewhat like a false flag. There's probably like obviously an agenda behind it, a propaganda, towards a particular faction or ideology, like some sort of like gate that's opening up abduction. I'm getting abduction. Yeah. I'm getting something with like,
Well, it's interesting about that. Back in 2002, people don't know this. Spielberg made a whole series on alien abduction, like before there was even any streaming platforms. I think he did it on, I don't know, it was called Abduction. That's what it was called. And it was like, it was made literally in like 2002, which is like, I don't even remember what that would be on. It's free. You can watch it on YouTube now, but he always knew. It's almost like he always knew something. He almost was like privy to like what was going on behind the scenes, and then he brought it through in films.
The AI artificial intelligence movie was put out by Spielberg in 2001. And of course he did E.T. and he did Poltergeist and
he did Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and he did Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. So that was 2008. About that, he was talking about crystal skulls and Nazis and stuff because he did the whole Indiana Jones series. So it's almost like he's privy to like a lot of information that
And honestly, oh man, now we're like opening up something because I actually used to do like clearing work on a guy who used to be a Hollywood writer for like scary movies and things like that. And I remember when I worked with him, his field was just so ripped and torn, and there were so many open like satanic and demonic and Luciferian portals in his field. He had so many nightmares, so much like uncontrollable like terror in his sleep. He had to like completely move away from the Hollywood industry and buy like a little farm out in the middle of nowhere and just like start herding goats and stuff and just like literally just like completely get away. But it just like, it was still always a haunting that was there. So it's just like, now that we're tuning into Spielberg's field, it's like, I'm feeling this like black goo like come up from the sacral chakra, and it's just like the whole extension of him is like a tentacle. It's like, a squid, and there's a lot of sticky goo and a lot of like it's like a portal to hell is what it feels like. It feels like there's something that is just very parasitic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I can't even imagine. See, this would be somebody who would be very interesting to analyze the whole afterlife thing with somebody like this, because this is a soul that actually probably literally installed so much terror into young people. Like when you were saying abduction, I was getting like, it was almost as if the abduction was targeted to children and teens. Like whatever this is, or like whatever the energetic attachment is towards.
Well, movies in general, I feel they create memory on the astral plane. It's creating halls of mirrors and this thing like in the movie Inception. If you saw Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio, they build minefields and landscapes with the mind, and they actually go in, and I think you even talked about this.
Yes.
There was where they manipulate and they can go in and actually kill somebody in the dream or whatever. You know, it's interesting because we are in a dream. According to Carlos Castaneda, we're in a dream within a dream.
I would say that there's some reality.
Layers of dreaming. It depends on how deep that layer is in the dream.
I told you I had a fan who sent me a DMT pen one time, and I did DMT almost for a whole month. Like I did it every day. I would hit the pen and just see where it would take me, and like not all the time, just I would like once or twice a day I would like hit it and like see what would happen. And every time I'd be coming off the DMT, like everything on my desk looked holographic. Like that's one thing I remember. So it was almost like it was showing me like the outline of the Matrix in a way.
It's interesting the things they show us in movies when they show us portals, wormholes, black holes. A lot of times there's webbing around it. When they show us it going into the afterlife, sometimes we see it on a conveyor belt, like in cartoons, they're on a conveyor belt and they're going into that white light tunnel, or they're going into the black hole or something like that. I've been feeling the sun's important. This was interesting. I don't know if who I shared this with. I thought I shared it with you, Rob. When the government shutdown happened, I feel that was deliberate timing to do with the fact that 3i Atlas was behind the sun at the time of the government shutdown. And that was one time there was absolutely no spraying and the sky was clear for a month. And the sun actually started to feel benevolent again, where it wasn't burning me and feeling toxic. And there was one day, the way the clouds were, I actually felt like I was looking into the firmament, which is called the waters above in the going biblical. It's the waters above, like that the reason they spray is to keep those frequency. It's part of it to keep those frequency fences in place and those magnetics, as far as to create that dome. Now, Gene talked about the Golden Dome. I don't know what you think about that.
No, you're definitely onto something with that. Because, like, not to bring it back to in an evil sense in any way, but I had like a vision. I think it was it last year in October, and this broke me. I mean, I was devastated for a few days after this, but I seen that all of the evil in our earth and in our world was coming from and through our sun. And it was a vision that I had. I was devastated. I was like crying in the backyard. It was just like a whole ordeal. But I just don't feel like I ever like recovered from that. I mean, it took me a while.
People feel that the moon is hijacked. The moon is a level. The sun is a level. Do we have to the sun? I always think of the song "The Sun King" by the Beatles this time of the year, because I was watching the sunrise and I felt like when I'm at this casino, it's so funny. I told everybody I get free rooms there. I feel like it connects to an airport in a way, because it has like the escalators and it kind of reminds me of when you go to the airport and they have the rental car place, right at the airport. That's what it looks like. And then there's the what do you call it when you get off the gateway, the land bridge or whatever. It feels like there's like a land bridge thing that gets you, or the jetway or whatever they call it. It feels like there's all of that, even though it isn't. It's a very strange situation. I was watching the sun, and I felt like when I would be in a plane when I'm flying and watching the sun come up, and I always think of that song by the Beatles that goes, when it's this time of the year around the solstice, here comes the Sun King. Because the sun is the king, right? The King of Kings is the Son, Christ, the Son of God. Not just the S-O-N, but the S-U-N, because it's the return of the light, the return of the sun. All this has meaning. It's like deep in us. It's programming. It's such deep programming. All of these Hollydaze, as I like to call them, Holllydaze, days, like, because everybody's dazed and dazzled, not just by tinsel and gold and silver. There's something that actually makes people like,
yeah. And there's something within that too, like with this light and dark. It's the polarization that works. I always think these double porters, the 10-10 portal, the 11-11 portal, the 12-12 portal, even though they're like high manifestation and high activation days, they're high illumination and magnification on polarization. And I feel like we are witnessing so much polarization right now, so much exposure, so much truth revelation. Like the timelines are sorting out right now. And I feel like there's a lot of judgment. Like, I mean, I feel like even the whole story of Santa, I think I sent you like a card, Rob. It was like Santa Claus is judging you like every day out of the year. Basically, I mean, the story of him, right? Like he's basically judging you and then deciding at the end, like, do you deserve something or not?
Santa Claus, the Claus. I felt I had talent.
It's like the judgment. This is the time of judgment. It's the judgment day.
I was feeling like I had talent. You know, that was in my cards when I did a reading recently, was the judgment card. My hands started to feel like they were talons the other day. Like I was like becoming a bird of prey. Like my hands, I'm like, oh my God. Like maybe I have the eagle eye looking down. I don't know. Something about the bird, like birds of prey in there when they catch stuff. I don't know why that was coming to me. Santa Claus, Satan, the Claus. And people visualize God as an old man in a white beard, which is Odin.
Wow.
How you doing, Rob?
I mean, I've been kind of out of it the whole episode show. I like I said, I took a nap before this, and I was just been kind of, you know.
I was that way a few days ago. I felt like I was sleepwalking, and then 2 days ago, my energy came back.
Like I kind of feel like I'm still dreaming, you know, but I'm not. I'm like I'm completely awake, but I'm like, you know, I just kind of. It's been that kind of day. It's like you said, it's Hollydaze. Like I feel like I'm in a daze, and you know.
And the food doesn't help because there's a lot of sugar this time of the year, which is deliberate. You know, for people for the cookies and candy to be around, that's deliberate. To have all that.
And I know you said you didn't want to go political at all, but I brought this up when I was talking to you, but I really think the biggest polarization we're watching, and honestly the biggest story we're watching right now is this, and I don't know, because I know you get on X sometimes, Rob, the whole story, the war right now between Erica Kirk and Candice Owens, like what's happening right now, like it is just literally insane. Like,
tell us what's going on, Andy. I don't follow that.
Well,
like,
you know what's interesting about this whole thing is the whole thing about influencers. Anyway, tell us this, Andy. And
well, a lot of these
why do we need influencers?
Are like they're paid opposition by the feds.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I heard Candice has been under major attack. That's one thing I heard. Like, do you feel like Candice is like a CIA op, or do you think she's real truth?
I am so confused, to be honest. I thought one thing and now I'm thinking another, and I'm literally going back and forth, and I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the same way.
Guess who I found out who her neighbor is. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Like I just found this. I was watching a podcast earlier. I was like,
who's your neighbor?
Her neighbor's Theo Vaughn, and she's like really tight with Theo Vaughn now, which is like, you know.
I mean, it's difficult. I think Candice Owens is functioning from a lot of like egoic arrogance and extremism, to be honest with you. Like, I think we all want to know who killed Charlie Kirk. Absolutely. Like, But I feel like the way she's going about it is actually very disrespectful to Erica Kirk. I mean, they had Erica Kirk, she was like recently in this red jacket and she was on this show and she like addressed all of the attacks that are coming from Candice, because Candice is like insinuating that potentially Erica Kirk killed her and all the people, or killed him, and all the people at TPUSA killed him. And obviously there's a lot of unanswered questions as to, you know, nobody believes the narrative. Nobody believes the narrative, you know?
There's a lot of like Illuminati, like sex kitten magic behind Erica Kirk, it seems like, you know, like.
Oh, I'm seeing that too. You know what's weird about this whole thing? Because I had this conversation earlier today, because it's almost as if there's Mandela effects around this and multiple timelines with perspectives, which means depending on what timeline you're in, the narrative may be different and may actually be true or false depending on where your station of identity is.
That's very, very true. That's very true, because it's like Erica Kirk is more in this like Christian mindset, and you can tell she's a smart woman, but she doesn't have the level of IQ that Candice Owens have, and she's not a guerrilla aggressive journalist or an investigative journalist. She was like a mom, and she's taking over as a CEO of TPUSA. So she's obviously having to defend against somebody who's kind of like a bully in the industry, to be honest with you. And it's not that Candice Owens has a lot of very, very like good introspection and good points, right? Like she's like bringing a lot of truth to light, but she's like in a totally different world and a different reality. It's not a good match. I mean, it's like pinning women against each other. And honestly, I think the biggest mistake is that Charlie Kirk did not address his relation to Candice, because I think there are so many times that like, I think people would ask, I remember people would ask Charlie Kirk, like, what's your take on Candice? And he's like, I'm not going to like insult her or go against her, whatever. He's like, even if we have differing opinions, but I think that left the door open for him now in his passing, for her to aggressively attack Erica. Like, it's crazy. Like if you go on X, like what's going on between them right now, it's heightened level warfare.
At this point, I think X becomes so volatile. I don't go on it.
It is really volatile. I think
it was good at first, but okay, I'm going to say something now. I'm not saying this is true at all. Don't believe anything I say, but when I looked at Candice, so I'm just going to look at her picture because I don't really pay attention.
Well, when I say Nick Fuentes is a Fed, like it's so crazy because he's like a groyper in this guy that's supposed to be like, you know, helping the Republican Party.
I think these are all paid
his position. He's like a white nationalist. Well, anyways, he's now attacking Candice. He's like, I'm going to expose Candice. I'm going to speak out who her husband is, who her donors are, how she's ruled by Scientology. She's not even backed by the Catholic Church. Like, so many people are gunning for her right now. I mean, it's really bizarre. This is what came to me. I wondered, I'm not going to say this is true, but energy signature wise, I said, is she owned by Obama? I had that thought that just came into my mind. I'm like,
Candice?
I don't know why I thought that, but whatever. Because Obama owns Netflix. I mean, partly they're all in bed together. I mean, it was a fleeting thought.
It's like how we found out that we all found out that Vance was backed by Palantir, and we were all like, oh fuck, you know.
Well, that's actually that's true news. Google even says that's true. And that's so weird for me to bring up that Vance monument, you know, connected to Asheville. And did you ever see that movie about his background, Hillbilly Elegy? That was interesting.
I just think it's strange that Candice Owens has all this time to like dig into this stuff. I mean, doesn't she have like 4 children under the age of like 8 years old? You know, like what are her children doing? Like she's literally on freaking X every day trying to like slaughter USA and Erica Kirk. Like where are your kids? Like I just think it's bizarre. I mean, you don't ever hear her talk about her children. I can't imagine that she's like a top of the line, like invested mother in her family. Like is her husband taking care of her kids? Like who's taking care of her kids? That's what I want.
Are there even her kids?
Called Theo Vaughn, Uncle Theo.
I thought she's ashamed of her kids. I think she doesn't even believe she's a black woman. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
I don't know. I mean,
there's something.
do you think Indy and Missy, do you guys think that maybe she went a little too deep for like what her network allowed, and maybe she's being targeted now and being attacked? Because that could always be like,
he wants to get to the bottom of who killed him. And honestly, this attention needs to go off of these two women and go towards the feds. Why is Tash Patel not speaking? Like, people want answers. People want answers. Like, why was his assassination so public? Why was he slaughtered in front of all these people
and not
on
just
camera?
that,
But the whole case with
not just
with
that, but they
Robinson
did it like with. They did it where they used like every style of assassination. I mean, there was hand signals. There was a lot of shit that went into that. Like,
Valhalla, all that stuff. But according to Carrie Cassidy, he's
not dead.
Protection.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. I mean, this is a crazy reality we live in, and some of these people are psychotic. Like, I think Indy, you also brought up Tucker Carlson. You were wondering what was going on with him.
He's buying a house in Qatar. I mean,
what?
He's in bed with Islam, 1000%. Yeah, he's buying a house in Qatar.
Someone told me this though. And Matthew, if Matthew Morning's in the audience, I think he might be able to verify this because he knows guns really well. Like, I think when they said when Charlie Kirk got shot, the way the blood went, and I'm not trying to be gross here, so disclaimer for YouTube and everything, but like, I think they said if it would have been a real shooting, that it would have been like, it would have either, again, I don't want to get off YouTube, but it would have blown his whole head off, or it would have been a lot worse than what it was. And
hey, Rob, you just got a donation. Let's go.
Yeah, give Rob some coffee money. You guys, come on. And when I start pulling these cards, everybody can donate. Spider-Bite saying it was a drone. I mean, I think that's the thing, is people like, there's no way his net could have stopped a 30-watt or 30-watt bullet or something like this. And honestly, the things that were most convincing to me was that it was actually an explosion from his microphone. That actually makes the most sense to me by when they slow down these pictures and look at everything. But, and then they're saying like there's all these Israeli like phones on the ground, and there's like all these other countries that were like they checked the caller logs to see like phones that were bought in Israel. So, I mean, Candice is like going crazy. She's connecting it to Israel. She's connecting it to Macron. And this is what's making people invalidate her. But I get her passion to try to figure out, what it is.
Every all signs point to Israel. Like, Israel is the simplest. I'm sorry, Indy, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It seems like Israel's the simplest to blame, because it seems like he was in bed with Israel. Then he realized that like he like wanted to go away from Israel, and he was starting to speak out against them. So they had every reason to take him out. If you look at it from like the surface,
somebody made it look that way.
Right.
They took him out, or they made him look that way because they knew he was going to be taken out. Just like I still stand by that one time, that show you and I did, Andy, when I came back from Mount Mitchell. And I got the whole download about the Vance Monument. That was the day my friend called and said, "Did you hear that Trump got shot?" Well, when I saw that, I got that was friendly fire on him, so that way his ratings would go up.
I honestly think it's like they want us to think, because when he got shot, what was he talking about? He was talking about I think transgender violence and things like that. Oh,
you're talking about Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, right. But like, honestly, the thing he was speaking out against the most before he died was Islam. I mean, he started to speak out against that. Like, it could have been someone, within that agenda. Also, if you think about, if they want to sabotage Trump, it like an insider job, like it actually being the feds, it like being that they want to sabotage the Republican Party. And that's exactly what's happening. It's all falling apart. They're saying they're not even going to be, they're not even going to win midterms because of the social media push of all these influencers that are sabotaging basically the election. And so they're saying that like, yeah, all these donors are backing Erica Kirk now to try to get the Republican Party to win, but it's going to fall apart because all of this is the breaking down of the Republican Party. And then everybody's going to blame Candice Owens for it. That's basically because she's the one that's attacking TP, or, the whole organization that Charlie Kirk built. And the reason why Trump got elected was because of what Charlie Kirk built. So now that's being attacked and that whole thing is falling apart. I think it's on the 13th, December 13th. They're going to have a live showdown with Candice Owens and TPUSA. to go over all
No
of the
way.
lies that were basically spewed.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been, I feel like this is the story of the time right now. This is really
Who's
what's like,
representing TP USA? Is it Erica Kirk? Is it?
she's the CEO.
Okay, I want to bring another thing into the can of worms. I'm not saying this is true or isn't true. Just like we don't know what 3-Eye Atlas is. I mean, everything has many potentials, many strings attached. There are many fractals, realities, and points of view of how you could look at things. What if the Islamification of everything is actually owned by the Zionist Khazarian mafia? And they're going to do away with everybody.
I've actually heard people propose that before, that the Zionist Jews and the Islam are in it together, you know, and they fight each other in Palestine and all this stuff, but behind the scenes, that, you know, it's just like the Fourth Reich. It's like how they're in with the Fourth.
Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker fight on screen because all the world is a stage, but at the end of the day, they go out and have a couple beers together and eat a pizza. I mean,
Missy,
I think it's kind of like that.
I would say that the Fourth Reich Nazis are definitely tied into that, because we know they never went anywhere and they're still around. So I mean, like, you know, I think it's a pyramid.
But what's even worse than the Nazis was Stalin. Was somebody talking about that on your show? Was that Gene Decode that brought up Stalin?
He might have. I can't remember.
Yeah,
you know?
he did. He did on our last show.
Yeah.
I can't remember like the context he was talking about. I think it had to do with like socialism, and how Zoran Mamdani won the election, and that he was connecting it to Stalin, and it had to do with what socialism looks like, and how people need to research Stalin, because that's exactly what Zoran's going to end up being.
Right, and what was it called? The Bolshevik Revolution. And the project that everybody thought, the Q movement, all the stuff about Q, people become complacent because they're waiting for somebody else to do it, you know. And then we have what happened in Dearborn, Michigan, too. So I guess Texas, it's going to not do that. I guess Florida's not going to go that way.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I'm concerned about Western North Carolina because it's the purple area, because Asheville is actually a sanctuary city. That is not good. You know, sanctuary cities are not good.
Yeah.
What are people saying in the chat now? Do they have questions, Rob?
I think we got people excited about the Charlie Kirk conversation. It was kind of rolling there for a minute. But someone wanted us to do readings.
I can pull some cards. Let's do another. Because I'm feeling the whole Krampus thing. Krampus.
I gotta go take a
they
look.
keep talking about the red heifer ritual. Do you know anything about the red heifer ritual, Missy?
That's to do with the temple being built. That's the third temple in Israel.
That keeps coming up, but I mean, I always hear that that's happening, but I don't ever see that that's happening.
Okay. The ceremony of the red heifer is an ancient biblical ritual for purification from death's impurity, involving the slaughter of a perfect, unblemished red cow outside the camp, burning it with cedar, hyssop, and scarlet, and using ashes mixed with water to cleanse those who touch the corpse. Nasty.
There's a question. Wait a minute.
Let's pull a rune.
Oh, back to my question about how much attention do we give away? Like, Missy, how much attention should we be giving away to all of the things that are going on externally, you could say? And how do we balance that in our lives?
I'm feeling that we need to have that in our periphery, but it's kind of like when horses have the bit, and we don't want to be exactly like with blinders. However, we want to be able to maintain our focus and have that in the periphery. That's kind of why the thing about the talons came to me, because if you have a bird's eye view, like a bird of prey, an eagle or a hawk is looking down and they can see everything that's going on. So we want to use our higher chakras, like go up to that 14th chakra up here and almost bring some kind of eyesight up here, that window to God, and to be able to our God source, our higher self, and to be able to look at what's going on and yet still maintain our focus and don't be like prey. I say be like the predator. If you study predators, which I'm vegetarian, so I'm not. However, the energetic of a predator, come here, show yourself. Eyes and forehead. He's not, though. He will kill some mice if needed. He likes everything as far as eating. Almonds is one of his favorite food. However, predators spend a lot of time watching timelines, sleeping. If you watch big cats, they go for the weakest. They thin it out. They spend a lot of time watching and conserving their energy. Conservation, conservative, right? Conserving your energy and then going for what you want instead of your prey. That your eyesight is here, you don't see well, and you're all over the place. Fight or flight, energy's rattled. That's what they're doing to us emotionally. Social media and these influencers, why I don't think it's necessarily good, are baiting people to get a reaction. It's all about baiting us and divide and conquer. So we need to maintain our focus and not get caught up in
a lot of narcissism.
Oh, it's all narcissistic.
That's why I kind of like what you said.
Sociopathic and psychopathic, not just narcissistic. There's criminal behavior with this.
Yeah, that's why I like what you said, Missy. I feel like a lot of times my job is to like not take a side necessarily, but like to just look at everything and how fucked up everything is and just report on it and like pick out all the incongruencies I see everywhere, whether it's with Islam, whether it's to Judaism, whether it's to Russia, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's, I want to see it all from an outsider's perspective, and then I want to make my decision based on that. And what I see is a lot of corruption everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah, it's not the people that are in those structures, the normal people, because a lot of people, there's 33.33% that is far right, extreme one way, conservative, whatever you want to call it. 33.33% far left, whatever you want to call it, liberal, crazy, Marxist, I don't even like to use those words so much, but then the people in the middle. It's the people that are in the middle that are holding the balance of the force, that people that don't get heard. The people in the middle, the 33.33% in the middle, are not being heard. They don't want these extremes. It's puppet, this show is what's being seen, trying to bait these people in the middle, to pull them to a side. We need to hold the balance. Because I think it's when the Bible said, let your yes be yes and your no be no. There is that, but it's not about baiting, divide and conquer, yes and no.
I also kind of think too, like on a personal level, there's a time and place for everything. Like if you're in tune with your oversoul and you're really in tune with like what I believe in, I'm connected to a higher power, I'm connected to the truth of my soul, you tend to not worry so much. If you feel called to dabble into the politics, into X, into the social media a little bit, you do, because you want to know what's going on in the world. But if you feel like you also need to take that time for yourself, then you do that as well. And, you just kind of delegate your time accordingly. But I mean, you don't always have to stay neutral. If you want to stay neutral because you want to play it safe, that's good. But if you don't want to stay neutral and you want to work on your passions and the things that you actually care about, and you want to take action, then do that too. You know what I mean? I think we're so multidimensional, that we shouldn't live in fear, not even in these times. We should just like kick ass and take names when we want to, and then take a nap and go to sleep when we want to. I mean, I feel like that's what we did today. Right, Rob?
There's still a lot of the collective that's not aware, and that's why they're not doing that. They're still being baited. They're still being emotionally hooked.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation. I'm going to propose this. How can you, because you can have righteous anger, how can you, or anybody, me, anyone, have a firm boundary, which is drawing your line in the sand, saying what you say, mean what you mean, not accept certain things in your reality without holding anger, resentment, or hatred in your heart. How?
Yeah.
Because
Can I
that
keep it
anger, almost that righteous anger, is power and almost like your shield. How do we soften and have that shield and be firm? Like Theodore Roosevelt said, walk softly, carry a big stick. How do we do that?
Yeah, that's a good
It's
point.
a balance of loving and protecting yourself, because like a lot of times anger and resentment and hatred comes from when you are assaulted personally by some of these things. And then that, you know, you get attacked or things build up or you're not able to transmute, right? So you like hold. And then when you wait to that level, then you explode. And then you're kind of on this like rampage of like, you know, I need to seek justice, you know? And so, yeah, I think you have to find a balance with protecting yourself of what you do engage with and really realizing when things are not in your best interest. And if you can sustain that and really hold yourself up high, I don't know. That's for me. That's my own personal lessons I've had to come to terms with, I think, with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like really kind of, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to engage in and what am I not going to engage in? Because if I engage in anything that's going to put me at a risk to collapse me, take something from me, destroy me, invade me, you know, I know there's a lot of the like astral and the etheric invasions and astral invasions, like things that are happening on this like collective level that we all participate in, but we really do have so much power to like block and shield and hold our own fields and not allow those things if we can sustain consciousness around those types of things. Like you can really command energy. Like when you're in your God consciousness, when you're in your I am presence, you can command so much. You can really you can manipulate your field, the whole quantum field.
Someone brought up a question directed at you, Indy, to do with the spiders and the Islamification. I just love that word right now. I
wanted to kind of cue that up.
I'm seeing totally.
Thank you for the donation.
Thank you, Dayla.
The artificial spider.
Spider-Man movies. Remember, there was one Spider-Man movie that was actually showed the black goo. And you brought up justice.
Renetta talked about
the justice is about holding the balance. When the woman it's Libra, holding the balance. When justice is about balance, finding fair and balance.
I have to think about that and put it in perspective. Artificial spider, what that's bringing me to right now is the spike matrix, like the internal Saturnian black cube and then the black magnetic beams that come out from inside of the earth and hooks into places like the Kaaba. I would say that would be similar to the artificial overlay on the organic systems and the organic mother grid. And that could be seen as the artificial spider. I mean, yeah, I mean, my take on it, if you've watched my channel and
the artificial spider.
I mean, these are all Stargate 10 types. So, I mean, these are the original invaders of the planet is how I see it.
The spiked, you know what else? The Omicron, the spiked, you know what? That stuff that also connects to that black goo, that graphene oxide, that scaffolding that's being built in the body. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of control through condemnation. It's just it's a whole soul harvest.
About the spider, Renetta would. Yeah.
Renetta, speaking of her, I remember that show that she showed what corporations owned those implants. Remember that, Rob?
Yeah, it's absolutely. That's still on my YouTube. It's one of the most important videos, I would say. It's Renetta Jones, exposing the galactic slave trade, because it wasn't just her, but other people, Carrie Cassidy said it too, that there's absolutely a galactic slave trade going on, and that the DNA is a currency at the end of the day, and but what Renetta did is she tied the implants to the FCC. She said the FCC is controlling some people's implants. And some of these signals are going out to deep space, and some are going to undersea, the Marianas Trench, which I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, you know, what's interesting is they say that people that pass that are buried give off a signal. You've heard that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Say that too, or was that somewhere else? I mean, I've heard that for a
It's
while.
a conspiracy theory going around. They said people who had like the Jabberwocky or whatever, they say that they emit a Bluetooth signal after they, you know.
That's what I was going to say, Rob. Without saying it, that's exactly what I was going to say. Well,
and they're talking about the red spider was an AI system, and then you have the red wave AI, and then you have the black wave AI. So I mean, there's those two, you know, connecting into that infrastructure. I think it's all connected to the Dragon Grid, right? Because that's running from Silicon Valley to China, obviously to Doha. Yeah. Has to do with some sort of hijacking of the silicate matrix. The whole, or at least what the spider infrastructure or the spike matrix is doing inside the body. That remember, because there was like the Cthulhu, and then there was like the spiders, like they were seeing all of that under the microscope.
Oh, you know, when we were talking about the flooding too, I had a memory of when I went to Puerto Rico, which would be 2014, February of 2014, when I was in Boca Raton, staying in a hotel there, and I'd come back after doing grid work and being on the bioluminescent bay and different things like that, and just having a great time too. I was laying in bed and I felt my bed was turning into a boat. And I was actually in the water. Have you ever had this? I've had this a lot of times where I wake up and I reach my hand over when I'm in bed and I feel like there's going to be water under my bed. I used to have dreams of flooding when I was a kid where I would be on the roof of my house. The house would be underwater and a helicopter or something was going to rescue me. And when I was taking a walk in Cherokee, I told you this, I got to see if I can find this picture. The river, I was feeling the river of souls because of this something called the hoarfrost. Because I was going to bring this up. The hoarfrost is like a crystalline, it's like when water vapor freezes, it creates this crystalline mist like a beard over the mountains. It's not snow, it's actually frost that freezes, and it connects in with this mist. And Indy, you and I were talking about this mist, this like the mist of Avalon, or this mist of souls.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense because I think this might be connected to the 3 days of darkness, like the descending timelines, and just like obviously the timeline that we're in, like, you know, that mist is connected to those dimensions basically. And
I don't know if you guys,
I think the mist is some sort of plasma inversion as it occurs. I honestly feel like yeah, it could be a transporter of souls, but in some ways it's like the air is thickening, and then it's like almost like darkness falls, like it has some sort of descending like effect to it.
can you guys see this picture? I don't know if you can see it really well. I'll have to send it to you. It looks like a boat to me. It's something I took of the sun over the river, and I was getting this whole thing of picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies.
That's a great song.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. But see that? It felt
That's a
like
great song.
This river, this boat whole, you know, in Egypt, why do they show the boat? And in Peter Pan, back to stories and fairy tales, the theme of Peter Pan,
James Rink,
Neverland. Huh?
Yeah, sorry, I had to. The James Rink was all about stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
The
James is all
was
about that. So I feel like James had something to do with this in my consciousness, with this whole thing with this boat and the river of souls that are in this boat going down the river. especially with the flooding. And I did the show with you, Rob, about the changing of the Ghost Guard, where that flooding is a clearing of timelines of certain soul collectives that will graduate together, and then there's a new collective holding space in the land. What do you think, Indy?
Soul graduation? Yeah, I think that's coming up right now. Yeah, the 144,000 activations, Christ consciousness ascension. Yeah, I mean, the 144 are the graduating souls. They're the ones that are, I mean, I think that's in rotation always. But I think that's what they're trying to, when people are like, how do we know where to navigate our energy? Well, they want to pull us away from graduation. They want to pull us away from being on mission, being in purpose, you know, being in the light. They want to keep us in a state of, you know, chaos and fear and pain and division and confusion,
high anxiety,
chaos,
fight or flight,
sickness, illness, death, disease.
Right. That is the playbook. That's what they choose to do, want to do to us. And that's what we have to override, because the attacks are not going to go away.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're coming up, like the 3 days of darkness, because Spider Bite's talking about it, and I think Dean Thorpe resonates with it as well. Yeah. What is the 3 days of darkness? Is that like, that's the window of the solstice, right? It's when it's the darkest, the 3 darkest days. I mean, technically that's the
right.
time.
We're in a liminal space around 5 days, always around these cross quarter days, as they're called. A cross quarter day is every 6 weeks, starting with Yule and then going to Imbolc, which is Groundhog Day, and then the spring or autumn equinox, and then after that Beltane, which is May 1st, and then the summer solstice, and then there's another one around August 1st called Lammas or Lunar, depending, and then there's the autumn equinox, which is Mabon, which I feel are Thanksgiving is actually the Mabon feast, and then of course Samhain, which is Halloween, and then after that Yule. So every 6 weeks, that liminal time of the darkness and the light. Now, talking about those 3 days of darkness, which is sort of like that movie Melancholy or something, but then you've talked about the 3 days of light, and that light, that solar flash, whatever it is what could bring on the darkness, because the technology goes down. Although I would choose that not to happen, you know. Like, I don't think that has to happen. I don't even think that would be an organic event. When the Carrington event happened, who actually did it? Who did the Carrington event? And was that tied into the reset with Tartaria and all that stuff? It's possible. It's possible the Carrington event is not a natural phenomena, because maybe none of these things have ever really been natural phenomena. If you look at the gods being at war with each other, which brings us back to Clash of the Titans, Zeus fighting with Hades, this kind of thing. These are still soul collective demigods, if you will, if you want to think about it that way, that that are controlling our weather. Now we have weather modification through the Harry or through the spraying or through these other things. But what is controlling that narrative? Like in the movie The Truman Show. Remember The Truman Show, and how he's in a boat and the guy's making the weather. It's all fabricated. You know, it's all scripted in the Matrix. That's the inversion, and yet the organic is the other stuff that we talked about, Indy, about getting out of that honeycomb, getting out of that spider through the cracks, that dome that's over us, that's a web dome. It's getting out of that dome is how we sometimes access the internal, eternal creation, which obviously is not light years away. I don't believe in light years away. The never a straight answer version of what they tell us of Because the world is round. It's not round, flat. Everything's a song too. All the world's a stage. And
Spiritual Ascension says perhaps, just perhaps, the 3 days of darkness are within oneself. I really feel like that's true. Like
that's true too.
Yeah, it's like, you know, what timeline you're on and which vibration you're on and what's happening in your life and what you're taking accountability for. You know, what you're acknowledging. Because if you're not taking accountability for things in your life and you're not acknowledging things, like that 3 days of darkness just come and swoop you up. And you ain't even gonna know why. You don't even know why you're living in a hell. It's hell on earth. It's when you're walking in hell on earth. It's when you're being hit with things, spiritual attacks, demonic attacks. You're blind. It's a time of reckoning. You know, nothing truly is bad in a sense. It's like, I think it's to awaken you. Just like the dark night of the soul experience, it's to awaken you to the next part of your journey and rise, like, you know, the phoenix come out of the ashes type of thing. It's all a choice. It's all choice, really. And I think that's what's hard for people is they don't realize they have a choice point within themselves. It requires motivation. You know, you have to be motivated.
As you were talking, 5 cards fell out as I was shuffling, and these are the Black Cat Tarot. I figure because we're talking about darkness, and I love black cats and everything.
I love that.
Black is good and white is, you know, it's all what you make of it. The 10 of Swords. This is actually showing. This is an interesting depiction. It's showing the life review there. Look at that. See that sun coming down? Look at that.
That's a 3 days of darkness card for sure.
Yeah. And the Hierophant's all about teaching and learning with the third eye of Horus there. I mean, a lot of times they don't have the third eye of Horus, but there it is in this one.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
3-eye Atlas. I've always said when 3-eye Atlas comes up, it's 3-eye. And what is Atlas? Atlas is holding the world up. Remember, in the mythology, that's what you're doing. It's like the world's on your back, right? And then the Atlas bone, let your yes be yes and your no be no, and the third eye and all that stuff. The Tower, everything has to crumble. The whole fake reality has to come down.
Isn't the Tower negatively usually a negative card, Missy or Indy?
It could be positive or negative. It's how you view it. It's the false systems have to crumble. That can be your own ego. It can be the outward systems. I mean, this stupid movie that we're watching, I guess, has to play out because people still are being baited emotionally and have to watch it because they still don't get what's going on. So they have to watch this stage. All the world's a stage and their player to hopefully bring them into some kind of emotional balance. There's your balance card. Your masculine and feminine 2 of Cups. You want to have the emotional balance, which will bring harmony where you'll be able to climb into the tree of life, the 3 of Pentacles, and be able to ground that harmonious father, mother, child energy into reality. Because that's what you need. You need, somebody said it's not, I don't remember if I heard on your show, and I agree with this. It's not Father, Son, Holy Spirit. It's Father, Mother, Child, or Mother, Father, Child. The womb of creation, the womb has been the biggest attack.
Yeah. And that was the original teachings of Christ. Remember that the other night I sent you the Gospel of Peace, Rob? The Gospel of Peace. I mean, they really go into, Christ's true teachings, and he said to honor the Holy Father and the Heavenly Mother, which was the earth, and Christ talks about the purification processes of how you do that. He talks about you're supposed to go to a stream or a river for 7 days, cleanse yourself in the river, cleanse yourself of evil and sin. Every day you get up, you go to the river, you wash yourself, cleanse yourself, you fast. And so I always go to that because that's such a, it's you realize that he really was the truth. He really was the way. He was really speaking what they now perceive as paganism and, whatever, idol worship, whatever, they demonize so many aspects of true enlightenment And I think Jesus was the purest heart on the planet. His heart was the purest heart. And if we can all just tune into that and the 3 days of darkness and all of our low times, right? We tune into the purity of his heart and know that that's capable, that was here, that existed. We are that as well. You know, we're not separated from that goodness of the world. I mean, we need so many more Christ-like men on this planet to stand and like rise in their power.
And when we were talking about
do you
men,
imagine?
That was the problem also with the whole Charleston thing, is that was started by the men. The problems were masculine. It was a masculine problem. The Civil War was a masculine problem. What did the women do? They actually supported both sides, and they were the healers. So when there was gunshot wounds, it didn't matter which side the soldier was on. They treated the wounds. They helped them. They fed them. It didn't matter. The women just was there as a support. The problem was between the men. And and that's what's going on now.
Well, and there is just a very clear physical disadvantage. Women really couldn't and shouldn't rise up and take arms. Like you look at the time of the Amazonian women and, you know, matriarchal times and tribes. But I mean, will we ever get back to that place? Maybe, you know, maybe in the future, because they say the male chromosome is going extinct. You've heard
That's
of that?
when we were taller, though. I mean, you're already tall, but not 12 feet tall, say, right?
Yeah.
Not 12 feet tall with big bones, you know.
Yeah. I am
So
gaining weight a little bit, though, and I'm actually excited about it.
How
Like,
tall are you?
I'm enjoying gaining weight.
All right. Yeah. Enjoy it.
I'm 5'10".
That's not that tall. That's not, you know, that's not that tall.
Yeah. It's sometimes really tall for people, though. I mean, I can tell that people look at me like I'm really tall. You know,
James also said to me he wanted to find a woman that was shorter than him.
Yeah.
How
Well,
short was
that's the
James?
thing. That's the thing.
Huh?
How short was James?
I'm not sure,
I
but I
never
think it was
met him.
about my height, and I'm 5'6".
Oh, that's about. I'm like 5'7". Yeah, I'm like, you know, I'm lucky if I'm 5'7". You know, I'm surprised what my driver's license says. My driver's license says 5'7", so I'm just going with it.
What are people saying in the chat? Does anybody want me to pull
It's
cards?
hard to be a tall woman, to be honest with you. Like it's a different existence. It's just like a whole different existence. Like you're just seeing the world from a different plane, honestly. Like you're just like towering over so many people. And then also, like when it comes to like finding a partner or whatever, I mean, people always want to have that like perfect ratio, right? Like you want to like have a masculine that's taller or whatever. But I feel like when you're a tall woman, like the options are less, right? Because it's like you're already as tall, if not taller than a lot of the masculines. So I mean, it just like rules it out. Like there's less and less available, you know, to kind of go with your tallness. And then I often find that men honestly are attracted to smaller women naturally, like no matter what size the man is. You know, they could be a tall man or a short man, and they're going to naturally be more, they'll gravitate to a woman that's like 5'2" or 5'4" or 5'5". Always.
That's most of my girlfriends have
period.
always been like 5'4". That's
Yeah.
So yeah, most of them, you know. That's
So if you're a
that.
tall woman, you're just like kind of displaced. You're just like in a utopia, living in a world where there's just like not tall people. That's what it feels like. When I was a little girl, I always wished that there was a planet where there was tall people and I could go to it. Like, yeah, because like, don't even send me to China. Like, holy shit, talk about just like total meltdown.
That's part of the nature thing about the male, you know, provide, protect. But it's not that way with spiders, right? With the spider, the female spider's bigger. Back to spiders, eats the male spider.
A lot of animals do that, you know. I'm not a lot, but like there are some animals that do that where the female eats the male or whatever. They're like, the wildlife is tough, man. You know,
That's all part of a installed program too. Predator prey. I don't get it was supposed to be that way.
When
that's the races. Like I one time was talking to a alligator and I was seeing the ones that control it. It started moving its face. I was saying, I know you. And it was going like this. I was feeling those Dracos coming through. It can't help it because it's here and part of the earth now, but the energy signature of these animals, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's interesting about cats. I love cats, but if you look at big cats, their pupils are like ours. However, why do the small cats have ambush predator eyes like a snake? They got the slits.
They're dragon spirits for sure.
Because I have an answer to that, Missy. I think all cats are from another planet. I think most things were from another planet. I think the Earth was terraformed, but like cats in general, they're real mysterious. You know what I mean? Like they have I don't know, like
big small cats were genetically modified with the snake gene, is what I feel. Because
they're able to see, like cats are able to see spirits, and they're cats are always on the prowl in the middle of the night. It's like they're very
those are the ambush. Not all cats are nocturnal. Not all cats are. They're predators. Because if you look at big cats, they have round pupils like we do. But this guy has slit eyes, which is the eyes of an ambush predator.
That would be like a reptilian, like split eyes too, right? Like
a reptilian. That's what I'm saying. There's reptilian in the house cat, in some cats. I think that came later. I don't think that was the original cat. That's when the DNA started becoming spliced and diced.
Wow. That's fascinating. It's
someone said something funny.
How come I can't
Dean
see
Thorpe
the
said
cat?
all domestic cats are possessed, in his opinion.
No. How do I go back to? Okay. You know what? I don't know how to access the chat, and I'm not going to try to do it because I don't want to lose my screen.
A lot of people were giving us their height. 5'5" in heels, 5'3". Mealy.star111 loves being tall. Oh, tall sister, let's go.
Wasn't there a song about short people? Short people got something. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing that. I used to skateboard a large part of my life, and that song. I know it's the exact song you're talking about. It's that's an oldie, like a 60s or 70s song, right? I think
it had something to do with a TV show, but I'm not sure. Does anybody want me to pull cards? I can't see the chat and what they're saying. I don't know. I tried to touch on it, and it took all you guys' picture away, and I don't know what's going on with it. So I don't want to do it. I don't want to lose my screen by trying to look at the chat.
Does anyone want to ask Missy a question? Just drop it in the chat and I will read it, or Rob will read it. We are waiting, guys.
Everybody's shy now.
No, Melly said for me to fake. She said fake and ollie, dude. And then she's put a LOL. Like it's a skateboarding term, so it's like I think I would die if I got on a skateboard nowadays. I can surf still, but I can't. I don't know. Yeah, but like I like surfing a lot better anyway, though. It's I don't know. I like being in the ocean.
Look at this.
Yeah.
The Queen of Pentacles rising out of the grids. Look at the feminine power of this card.
Is that a cat deck? It is black cats. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see how it's like coming out of a volcano, and look at these squiggly things. It's almost like I see it as the rise of the feminine. She's wearing a crown. Because the queen is always about pregnant with pause, like holding your authority in, and this is like grounding that feminine power. So even if she's silent, it's grounding. It's more about grounding the power than having to speak it. It's almost like to hold it. It's time to hold it And speaking will come. However, the masculine has to get their shit together right now.
Rob, how do you feel about that?
I feel like the young guys aren't really men anymore. You know what I mean? These new generation of guys, they're not really manly. You know,
they're
it's
all
like,
groypers. What's a groyper? I don't even know what a
like
groyper
like
means.
a little,
I keep hearing this
like a little
term.
sissy. You mean? Is that what it is?
Gen Zers and the Gen Xers are groypers. That's what they're saying. They're all following Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, like that's the problem. You know, and I just gotta say, isn't it weird that they're bringing a lot of like military age Islamic men into the country? Like, why would that be? You know, there has to be a reason for that. You know, like it doesn't scare me. I mean, I know. Like I said before, I don't think any of those guys are tough. You know what I mean? I don't think, you know.
Yeah. I would feel safe with you by my side, Rob. I know you. Don't you have like a karate or a jiu-jitsu?
I have a like a serious history in like in fighting. Like I was on the wrestling team in high school. Then I did a little bit of boxing. Then I did mixed martial arts. I did Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm like what you could call. I'm like a couple steps off from a trained fighter. You know, I just never had any professional fights, but I've done it my whole life. You know, I've been involved in martial arts my whole life. You know.
Okay.
Wait. I think we had a question, Missy.
Okay. Hold that thought, because I pulled this card. It fell out. It's 9 of Cups, a different interpretation of the 9 of Cups. I've also been feeling the energy of the jinn lately. Which are supernatural beings from Arabic or Islamic traditions, if you know about the jinn.
Yeah.
And the whole
there's this book. It's like I actually have it. It's like the spell book, the Islamic spell book. So they do have occult esoteric teachings. This woman sent it to me, but it has all of their like jinn spells in the book.
It's a sect of Islam. I know what you're talking about. It's like Shia or something. It's Sunni magic. It's Sunni magic.
Yeah,
I think you're talking
I think so. Al-Shaykh al-Sham or something is the name of the book.
I wonder if it connects into the Temple of Set.
Oh, you know who's tied into that is some of the people talk about on this channel is Michael Aquino, who was in the military, but he was a known Satanist, but he started the Temple of Set, you know, and a lot of the people that come on my show claim to have had run-ins with Michael Aquino. You know, a lot of people feel like they've been forced into these programs and they've had interactions with Michael Aquino. I can't say they have or they haven't, but that's what people tell me, you know, and he was a known Satanist in our military. Like, how crazy is that?
Are you ready for your question?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. This is the question of the night. Everyone wants to know. Are the archangels the fallen ones? Let's see what Missy's deck answers.
I also want to do the thumbprint for this too.
Ooh.
What does it say? I can't see it.
That's a good card.
I can't.
3 of Swords.
3 of Swords. Okay.
There's many interpretations of this. The 3D interpretation, people say this is heartbreak. But I would say it's heart and mind alignment, where you want to align and be congruent within yourself of your positive, your negative, your neutral, your father, your mother, your child, you know, everything in the triquetra of 3 to override the daggers in the heart and bring up to the higher heart, you know, instead of that lower heart, that higher heart. So it can be yes and no. If you are coming from the inverted matrix, it's the archons. If you're coming from the higher perspective, you are an angel. Indy knows this. She wore angel wings in Rome.
Yeah, you did.
I did indeed. I was just getting something with that. I was getting the seraphim were coming through, and I was getting that it was their faction of the angels that fell, and
the cherubim, which was Lucifer.
Yeah, but the fall is not what people think it is. That there were like messengers that were sent that followed all of the fallen soul fragments and parts, so they were all like collected or redeemed. But this is the greatest hoax plaguing humanity.
We agreed to a fall too. We agreed for this experience to a degree, but we forgot we agreed.
Yeah. That all fallen souls are actually redeemed in the eternal salvation. I guess I don't like to use salvation because it's like a super biblically term, but that it's a Decepticon. It's a part of the Luciferian agenda.
Yeah, and it just goes round and round and round and round and round because time passes and it's like the wheel of karma and this spiral, and it just goes up and down and up and down and in and out and in and out and front and back and front and back and right and left and right and left and inside and outside and outside and inside and the other way and forward and back. Because it's everything everywhere all at once. All things are actually playing out at one time. So it's
Someone in the chat mentioned Pierce Sabak. Pierce Sabak's amazing. He's an etymologist, and he wrote the book The Murder of Reality. And he also and he breaks down like the seraphim, the cherubim, and the etymological roots of them. And that he says basically that the cherubim were like human angels and the seraphim were like a reptilian angel. But then they came to humans, they made like a grafted bloodline. And that's what we are. And he talks about the Adamic race was taken and it was transplanted from Mars. It's interesting. He's an amazing guy. Have him back on the show.
That's great. Oh, you've interviewed him. Okay.
Yeah, way back when I first started, like 5 years ago. Like I wasn't ready for the interview. Like I'll admit it. Like I was not ready for at that time to be up, with someone like Pierce Sabak. But like I wish I could interview him now because it'd be a lot better,
Speaking of Mars, I went to see Mary Joyce from Skyships Over Cashiers years ago.
I love Mary.
Eve Lorgan, different people. There was this one woman. I can't remember exactly her name. I'm not going to say it, but it was very strange. She comes up to me and said, "I remember you from Mars. You were in the Mars program."
What do you think?
Huh?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think you
I
have
got a lot of Mars in my chart because I'm Scorpio?
Yeah, you never know, right?
I don't have all the memories yet that I want to say for sure. It's possible, though. I mean, anything is.
I'm Scorpio too, but I feel more Plutonian, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really feel Pluto.
I've got Shala too.
Yeah. I got a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I got and in my Mars, I think I have Aquarius, actually. I'm an Aquarius in Mars. I have a little bit of air. I'm air and water, mostly water.
Yeah, mostly water.
We got to go over our charts sometimes for a show. That would be fun, huh?
Yep, my moon is in Cancer. I know that. My North Node is in Gemini, so that's those twins. I always look at the North Node as your GPS system. That's where you're going.
Yeah, I'm going to Libra then. I'm going to Arcturus.
Indy, do you agree with this? Dowman 11.
Oh, wait, Spica. I'm sorry. I'm going to Spica.
Oh, I love Spica.
Oh, wait.
Do you agree with this? Dowman 111 says it all goes back to the Orion Wars.
Oh, my God.
I agree with that.
When I was at Wiseman's View, Spica was one of the stars that Google Sky said was Spica, and it started to move. And it was around that Virgo time of year. I'm looking at Spica. It says, this is Spica, and the damn thing's moving. I'm like, stars don't move. At least the way what they tell us. I mean, not like a ship moves and flashes lights on and off and moves. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like the Great Dipper, laying in my hot tub, looking up at the 4 stars of the Great Dipper. They're gone. The Great Dipper doesn't disappear, does it? Unless it's not what we think it is, what they tell us. It's not what they tell us. What else are people saying in the chat? Come on,
It's
people.
all over the place.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I am seriously hungry right now.
We can end the show now, I guess, if you guys want to. And yeah.
Let's do another one of these things. I want to do another. This is for somebody. The thumb.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. Mm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know this has been so much
Creepy
fun,
music,
you guys.
isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I was just thinking about pizza. Missing
Pizza.
Time 420 said I had a pizza. I was just thinking about
Pizza.
pizza for some reason.
I
Yeah.
had pizza last night. I went bowling.
I made homemade pizza last night.
You did make pizza. I was like, wow, Rob, you can cook?
Yeah,
Amazing.
I can cook.
I want to make pizza with sourdough crust.
That sounds good.
Rob has a lemon chicken recipe he's yet to make.
It's like a Greek chicken lemon soup. Yeah, I can make that too. I'm really good with that kind of stuff.
Time probably may. They don't take thoughts. One, INES. I don't know what NS. This doesn't mean anything. Time probably. They don't take thoughts. Ones in S.
I love everybody in the chat
Time,
tonight.
and we
Good
got
energy.
thoughts, and we got ones, and they. Which there's always a they. They this, they that. They and time, and probably, and may. For clarification, let's do this. Jera, the rune of success and continuity. This is the runes now. Translation: year, harvest, the agricultural year, fertility, success in your endeavors, fruition and plans, good spirits, just rewards for past efforts, talent and skill, great reward. Jera is also the number 12, 12 months of the year. This is perfect to end on. Implies fruitfulness, profit, achievement of a goal. It also means cycles of seasons, implying movement, change, and natural development. It is usually very positive, but also a symbol of cause and effect. It may portend the end result of past actions. Jera may represent justice, which can be positive or negative, a reward or punishment. So it can be Santa or Krampus, depending on what you've put out. Will you have Santa visit, or will it be Krampus visiting? This is the time of reaping rewards from the seeds sown in the past. Let's say it is the time of plenty of joy and celebration, but it is also a time to work with no time for complacency. The harvest is followed by winter, so you should make sure you have stored enough wisdom to face your next challenge. This is another turning point in life, not a goal. There are greater harvests ahead, but like the farmer, you must prepare the land, sow the seed, and tend the seedlings and feed the fruit.
Well, that was great. I had so much fun coming on with you guys tonight. It was really good to catch up. Yeah.
It was great.
I enjoyed it. So,
you guys want to tell people how they can follow you and everything? Anything you guys want to promote? And whoever wants to go first. And thank you. This was really good. I think this was going to be like a legendary show.
Rob, what is your holiday programming looking like? Are you doing a Art Bell style, or what are you doing for your, like, as it gets closer to
I'll probably do like a call-in show.
Christmas.
Yeah. I'll probably do a call-in show. You know, I don't know what I'll do for Christmas Eve, but you know, I'm not sure yet. You know, I'd like to do something for sure. You know,
I think we need to all talk again after the 19th, because this 3-eye atlas was supposed to be the closest around the 19th or so. See what's coming.
I think it's on the way out now. Because the perihelion window was to November 3rd, I believe.
I thought there was something about the 19th with it, though. What am I remembering about the 19th? I'll have to look it up again.
Yeah, let's look it up. I know the Swan Comet is on its way out as well. So I might do an update for tomorrow, 12/12 on my channel. If anyone wants to come on over to Indigo Angel on YouTube. And I'll be giving my breakdown of the portal energy. And yeah.
Is tomorrow a good time to manifest, Indy? Or is that like the 12/12s, the 11/11s good times to manifest?
I think it is, but it's not like the 11/11 portal. But I think it's more about going within and like really connecting to your higher self and Christ consciousness, the 144, like really, purifying and being in gratitude, being appreciative, just being humble and vulnerable with yourself and loving the people around you. I think it's the time, obviously, like the season, right? It's the time to really like let people know that you love and care about them, and to offer it's a good time to like give, honestly, because it's like we are, like she said, Missy just said, we are kind of like, in a way, we are harvesting. Like if you've been sowing good seeds all year and you've been kind of, being due diligent about that, like this is a time that you may be manifesting abundance for those that are on the higher timelines. And so it's really good to pay it forward. I think me and Rob were talking about that the other day, like what goes around comes around thing. Like when you do pay it forward, especially around these portals, like these are the things that kind of comes through and remanifest at a later time, is when you do good things on portal dates and stuff. And just really just love, love. That's what it's all about.
I think it's
radiate kindness.
I think it's especially important for the masculine too, because it's connected, that 12/12 for the electrical,
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
that's important too.
And I think that's why it came up in the conversation today so much with us too. Me and Missy kind of gave a lot of emphasis to like the male stepping into their Christ consciousness, and like I think handling business, handling some of these fights that the divine feminine maybe aren't equipped to handle, like the male polarization.
Right. The reason we haven't had a true feminine leader in a roundtable setting is because the masculine has to stand up and do it correctly first before the divine feminine can come in and do it. That's what I feel. Until the masculine has a correction, it's not really going to happen.
Yeah.
I think this was a legendary podcast. I really do. I think this is going to like be a historical. Like I think people are going to, like when I first got into like podcasts back in like 2015, 2018, I would watch shows like Leak Project, and I would watch them over. I'd watch some shows, like I'd watch one over and then I'd watch it over again, especially the ones with like Gerald Clark. I remember I would watch those. That's what I see with this one. I think this was so legendary that people will watch this and then they'll go watch it over and then they'll listen to it on audio and on whatever. Like, I think this was good. I think this was really that good. You ladies did amazing tonight. This was like we kind of went all over the place, like really good,
Fun, not really scripted. I had a few notes. Did we cover everything? If we didn't, we'll cover it next time. I guess if you want to get me, just email me at Hill, HILL, Night, NIT, Vision, VISION, hillnightvision@gmail.com. I have nothing going on really. I mean, I'm just laying low. If you want to get me, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
Through Rob, through Indy.
Thank you. Thank you, Missy. And thank you, Rob. It was good to come on. And we love you so much too, Rob. You're amazing as well. So.
You are amazing. Hey, give Rob, buy him some coffees and donate to Rob.
Thank you. That's awesome. Like you guys are amazing. This was a great show. And is anybody going to promote anything else before we go off, or anybody have any final word? Missy,
nothing to promote really. I'll do whatever. If you want to do a round Christmas show, I'm up for that.
This was a love show. We're just here. We're here to give love today. Yeah, I'm not.
We'll talk about it. We'll do one before Christmas. We're around Christmas if you guys want to. We can for sure, absolutely.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat tonight and everybody that watches on
Love
Rumble.
you guys.
And one more thing, guys. If you did like this a lot, share this with your friends and share this on social media.
All the social media platforms. Share this. Share it on X. I can't do anything on X. I'm not seeing it all.
I don't have a big following on X either. I feel like I don't know. Like I don't get that platform at all. But like it's a lot of rage baiting.
It is.
It is like when I go on X, I get enraged automatically. Like the first thing I look at, I'm like, what is this? I don't know. That's another conversation. All right, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay,
And
bye.
Bye.